Hey everyone, welcome back and thanks for joining me once again. It's Thursday, December 14th, 2024. We're here in the stable out in beautiful Monty Lake, BC, and that means it's time for a Pond Further review with Sean Tomlin. Remember, if you like what you see today, slam on a like, throw down a comment, and subscribe so you can get updates whenever this show comes on to air. And leave a like so more people can actually start to see the show and get more viewers here going for it. So on today's show, we got an awesome show here for you today. We're going to break down all the information, let you know what happened last week in the NFL. I'm going to go through how my picks did for last week, what my picks are going to be. We're going to talk about this action coming up this week. We're going to have a nice special guest, Hulk Hogan, on today. He's going to be going over all the playoff scenarios and all the stuff that's going on with Clusterfuck 2, our fantasy league, and I'm sure he's going to make that one a lot of fun. Everyone's going to enjoy that. So let's get right back down to it. Let's go through the weekly look back on week 14. We had Thursday night football with the Lions beating the Packers 34-31 on a game-winning field goal. This was an awesome match. Josh Jacobs was just all over the place. Didn't see the Lions pulling that one out. I knew it was going to be really close, but it was a lot closer than what I really honestly thought it was going to be. And it came out the opposite way, although I did pick the Lions to win that one. So maybe I was right on picking them, but not feeling about how I felt the game. But it was a really good game all in all. Most Thursday night football matches are complete garbage. So we got a treat with that one last weekend, but as you're going to find out, that did not happen this Thursday. Another thing we're going to be doing, because we're going to be airing on Saturdays now, like we are today, I'm going to be going over the action that happened in the Thursday night football pick, talking about who I was going to pick, what actually happened in the action in the game. So we'll be going over that one. And also, this is a special playoff edition for Clusterfuck 2. That league has now started its playoffs, and the chase to the good old Drew McLean Trophy is underway. So back to the action last week. Sunday morning, we had the Jets losing to the Dolphins 32-26 in overtime. That was an awesome game. Jonnu Smith hadn't done anything, and I was so happy that I had him on my team going for last week when I really needed to get in. And game went to overtime, and man, he just every single pass was to him, and then touchdown pass by him in the end of the game. That won it for the Dolphins there. That was a great match to watch. I have to say that was probably the most exciting match I watched all week. Then we had the Vikings beating the Falcons 42-21. I saw this one, not as big of what had happened, because Addison and Justin Jefferson and Sam Darnold just went off. But I didn't see them winning by that much. That was a huge blowout. I thought Kirk Cousins going back, facing against his old team, was going to have a little bit of better of an output, but it was what it was. I thought there was glimpses of him actually having that offense going in the right direction, but they seemed to be floundering a little bit late in the season here. Then we had a great match. The Giants getting beat by the Saints 14-11. Woo! What a match. Just heart stopper. Really, it seemed like it was a close match, but that was just because Drew Lock finally did something and got a touchdown pass into the end zone. Or Tracy ran it in, because apparently they were able to do a drive to get that close. And Mr. Locke ended up getting the 2-point conversion, which made it 14-11. But then they were like, hey, we got to get it back on an onside kick, which has only happened once this year, maybe twice. I think it's both been by the Cowboys. But with all the new kicking rules and everything like that, it's really hard to do onside kicks now, because you have to declare it and all this. It takes the surprise element out of it. But so usually when it comes down to that, it's very low probability it's going to happen. Then we had the Eagles just barely beating the Panthers 22-16. This was also a good match. Although there's something going on with Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown. Not too sure about that quite yet. We'll talk about that one a little bit later. Panthers actually looked like they were going to beat the Eagles on this day, and obviously, Eagles are just trying to upset, or the Panthers are trying to upset everybody just because they are either going for the first or second overall pick. They're in that bottom 5 range. They suck crap, and they're just trying to wreck things for everybody else. And they were trying to do that against the Eagles, but the Eagles were able to pull it out. And like I said, Hurts and Brown weren't having any connection. Something was going on there. We'll talk about that a little bit. Then in the next matchup, we had the Steelers beating the Browns 27-14. You know, those Steelers are starting to look pretty good. Yes, it was against the Browns. Okay? Hold your horses. I know, but they still look dominant. Najee Harris is looking great, and Russell Wilson is looking like he's going to be the reason that team has actually started to do good. The Raiders, they lost the Buccaneers 28-13. I thought that one was going to be a little bit closer. With the Raiders using Ritter, I thought, you know, he was going to have some flashes. O'Connell is coming back this week, so it's kind of up in the air if he's going to be playing this weekend or not. If you are apparently starting a Raiders quarterback in fantasy leagues, you might want to monitor that, but I don't know why you would. You'd have to be in a pretty deep league to be doing that. The Jags beat the Titans 10-6 in just a laugher. Fucking, what a riveting fucking game. I think I even picked the Titans to win that one. I was wrong. Anybody could have fucking won that game. That was just horrible. We'll move on to our afternoon slate, which was the Seahawks beating the Cardinals. And they beat them 30-18, so that was a good match. Nice to see the Seahawks starting to be pretty dominant over the last few weeks. Then we had the Rams beating the Bills 44-42. Josh Allen had the most points in fantasy I've seen by a quarterback in a long. I don't know if I've ever seen a quarterback get that many points. It was pretty awesome. He had 6 TDs, 3 rushing, 3 passing. Really great game for him. That was another game of the week that I'd have to say was probably one of the best. That and the Dolphins games were pretty friggin' entertaining to watch. Then we had the 49ers wrapping up the afternoon slate, beating the Bears 38-13. They didn't show it this last Thursday, and we'll talk about that why in just a couple moments. But they looked very good against the Bears. Good matchup for them. Tough to say if they're going to be able to pull it out and keep the wins going, but well, you'll find out in a little bit, and we'll talk about that. Then we had Sunday Night Football rounding off the Sunday schedule with the Chiefs beating the Chargers 19-17 on a game-winning field goal. They traded field goals back and forth in the fourth. I think there was 3 of them. Kansas City got one, then fucking Chargers got one, and then obviously Mahomes did fun stuff, and they were able to get that done. So then we had Monday Night Football, which was a Simpsons game on Disney Plus this weekend, or weekday weekend, whatever slated matchups that happened. It was the Bengals beating the Cowboys 27-20. I think Lisa Simpson had one hell of a nice run and catch from Homer, so that was good to see. Fun times. Then, like I said before, we're doing our shows on Saturdays, so that means Thursday Night Football is already going to happen. And what happened this week in Week 15? Well, the Rams beat up on the 49ers 12-6. It wasn't a good match. It was raining. It was tough throwing, tough running, tough game all around. It was just a wonderful kick fest. Just something that we just love seeing. Love seeing those kickers kick. And then that was just another example of a bad Thursday Night Football match, which is like 90% of them. We've had a few this year that have been good, but overall, they are pretty friggin' bad. Oh, dear. So we're going to move over to our next segment, and it's going to be my weekly picks. And we're going to go over the action that's going to be happening this upcoming week. Last week, I was 10-3, so I picked some good picks there. Doing pretty good overall, 93-51 for a .645 win percentage. So, I'm picking better than 50%. Gotta love that. Did a lot better than that last week. So in Thursday Night Football that happened was the Rams versus the 49ers. We know the Rams ended up beating the 49ers, but I had picked them, so obviously I'm 0-1 on my pickings for right now. But maybe Sunday morning's going to pick it up for me. Because we've got the Cowboys going up for the Panthers. Cowboys are going to look to get this victory, although in the opposite factor of it, they might want to lose, try and get a better draft pick. It's never something you want to do, but it's not like they're going to, like, I said this, me and Graham were talking about this in my Las Vegas episode. Even if they got a high draft pick, it's not like they're picking a quarterback, so they're stuck with Dak Prescott for at least 4 more years. So, and Jerry Jones is horrible, so maybe he picks up a good offensive lineman, but does it really change anything? I don't think so. But I'm still going for the Cowboys in this matchup. I'd love to see them win. And then we got the Chiefs going up against the Browns. Browns are fucking horrible. They've been more entertaining with Jameis Winston than they were with Deshaun Watson, so take that for what it is. But I'm taking the Chiefs in this matchup, even though the Chiefs have been looking pretty subpar over the past few weeks. But they've been getting the job done, and, they are the Kansas City Chiefs, and the refs do love them. Then we got the Dolphins going up against the Texans. I don't think this is going to be a Dolphins match like we saw last week, but I think they're going to pull it out. Texans have really been kind of on a downward spiral the last latter half of the season so far. So we'll see what happens with that one. That could be a really close game, but it could also just be a blowout because they've had a lot of injuries on defense. And then Shahir being, I think it's 2 games. 2 games he's been suspended for because of his little actions the other week. Next matchup, we got the Jets going up against the Jags. And the Jags put up 10 points in their last matchup in a fucking horrible match. So I'm going with the Jets on this one, even though the Jets have been looking god-awful as well. The whole Aaron Rodgers, the fuck is going on there. I still think they're going to pull the victory out, and I do have high hopes for the Jets. I have said this before. I think maybe next year might be the year that we actually start to see some fruition. That's all dependent on, does Aaron Rodgers come back? Are they able to get a good head coach in? A lot of factors coming into that one. Next, I got the Commanders going up against the Saints. I'm going to pick the Commanders on this one because the Saints, even though they're not bad, but they're not on that level yet. And I think the Commanders are just a little bit better. And their acquisition of Lattimore, he's going to be coming off IR, and he's going to be playing this week, making his debut. So that's going to be good to see. And then we got the Ravens going up against the Giants. Yeah, I'm picking the Ravens. Ravens, why? Well, fuck, the Giants suck and the Ravens are awesome. It's not a fucking hard pick there. Then we got the Bengals and the Titans to round off the morning action, and the Titans just haven't shown anything good. They could be without Pollard, so it's tough to say what's going to happen with them. They're just going to be one of those bottom meddling teams right now, and I think the Bengals are they're just the better team in general, even though they're not doing the greatest this year. But we will see what happens. Afternoon slate, I got my Colts going against those Denver Broncos. We're taking them. We're going to take them down. I know those Denver Broncos, they got a good D. They got a good quarterback. They got great action going forth with them. They're doing good things, but man, I love my Colts. But a week off, get some injuries dealt with, and I think they're going to pull that victory out. I think AR is going to have a huge matchup in that one. We got the Bills going up against the Lions. This is probably going to be a matchup of the week that you're going to want to watch. I think it's going to be the Lions beating the Bills. It could be flopping the other way. Allen had a great week last week in his losing effort, but I think the Lions are going to pull this one out, just like they pulled out the last game they were in against the Packers. Both good matches, so I think that's going to be a match you're going to want to see. And the Steelers versus the Eagles, and I think the Steelers are going to win this one. And I think this is also going to be a really good match you're going to want to definitely check out and be monitoring in the afternoon there. Then we got the Pats versus the Cards. Pats versus the Cards. Who am I going to pick? I'm going to pick the Cards. Not because the Patriots are trash, because they are. I don't pick the Patriots. You know these guys. Come on. Get on the program. Then we got the Bucks versus the Chargers. That's rounding out the afternoon. I'm going to take the Chargers on this one. That defense has been looking deadly. Really depends on the mobility and how well Herbert's going to be able to play this weekend, if he is able to play at all. So that could play a factor. That could swap it going in the Bucks' favor. But I think the Chargers got a good enough defense that they'd be able to take it without having Herbert in there. But no, that's a tough one to say. Then we got Sunday Night Football rounding out our Sunday action. We got the Packers going against the Seahawks. The Seahawks have been looking good, like really good. But I'm going to have to go with the Packers on this one. I think they're just going to be too tough. I don't think the Seahawks are quite at that level yet. They're doing really good, looking great in this latter half of the season. I could see them sneaking into the playoffs, but definitely got the Packers on this one. I think they're just overall the better team. And then to finish out the week, we got a doubleheader on Monday Night Football. Got the Bears going up against the Vikes. I'm going to take the Vikes because the Bears have just been kind of on a downward spiral as of late. Just things have not been clicking for them. They've had flashes of you could say brilliance, but not a lot great has been going on otherwise besides that. And when he's not looking like he's supposed to, like what they all thought he was going to be, they've been pretty bad. But, rookie quarterback, take that as something that NFL should start actually thinking about. These guys aren't going to... You're coming to a bad team if you're getting the first overall pick. You're not going to be able to just, turn it around because of one guy. That's a very rare occasion. Even Peyton Manning, my buddy, my guy, my favorite player. He was shit in his first fucking year. You gotta let these guys develop. You gotta build around them too. And then our last matchup in the Monday Night Doubleheader is the Falcons versus the Raiders. I'm going Falcons on this one. Raiders just haven't shown it, and at this point they might be honestly trying to tank for the number one pick. So, it is what it is on that one. I hate to see when teams do that, but I think the Falcons are going to take that one. All right, guys. I'm going to hand it over to Hogan here. He's going to go through the top threes. He's going to go through all the clusterfuck action. And I will see you guys for the final thoughts. So let's go get him. Hogan, you ready, buddy? Oh, yeah, brother. Just getting ready over here. Just got to get my mic set up and stuff. You know how it is. Oh, fuck, bud. I know. It's a fucking tough one out there. You can't always fucking be on time. You always get here so goddamn late from fucking California anyway, so you gotta start working on that. Hey, don't fucking bust my balls, brother. All right, guys, how's it going? It's great to be here in Monty Lake. The log flight takes me a while. I get combobbled. Can't get everything right all the time, It's tough. I'm fucking 70 years old. I can't fucking do this shit all the fucking time. But I know you guys love the Hulkster. And you know what? We're going to go through the top threes at all the positions this week. QBs, running backs, wide receivers, all the players that just excelled and did great. Did things that we haven't seen before. Superpowers happening with Josh Allen and his team. He scored 63 plus points. Just did an awesome job. Then we had Sam Darnold doing a great day. He had 46 plus points. Joe Burrow with 32 plus points. It's good for all those quarterbacks. They had great matchups. I believe Joe Burrow was played by Homer Simpson, maybe Bart Simpson, I can't remember, but he was having a great time out there eating donuts and stuff. Then our running backs, we got Mr. Garbanet with 40 plus points. The Seahawks there had a good game. And then Garando, 26 plus points on the 49ers he did. Good job filling in there and didn't do too good this week. I think Sean had him on his fantasy team and he was happy, but he wasn't as happy as he should have been. Then we had Rashad White rounding out the running backs with 24 plus points. Then our wide receivers, we had Jamar Chase leading the way with 47 plus points. Just getting bombs. I think he was played by Lisa Simpson that week. She was having a great game. Great game. The Nicole. Mr. Nicole got 42 plus points. Mr. Addison rounded out the top three with 41 plus points. So the wide receivers, they were having a great day there. Quarterbacks having an even better day. Running backs, you're doing okay. Yeah, things going. Then our tight ends. And George Kittle, 22 plus points. Sean was ecstatic about that, brother. Oh, that guy was eating his vitamins and saying his prayers. He was doing good things out there. The Lord was looking upon him. Then we had Njoku with 12. Wait, no. 17 plus points. That was a good one for Mr. Njoku. And our microphone's falling out there. Just got to make sure it's in there, brother. Then we had Juwan Johnson with 14 points. For the New Orleans Saints, brothers. He was having a good day. Looking like a possible pickup. Somebody might want to put in your lineup. But that's up to you, brother. Then we had defenses with the 49ers defense with 30 plus points. The Raiders defense with 27 plus points. The Bengals with 28 plus points. So defenses, they weren't doing great, but they weren't doing bad, brother. But not all the way. And then here's the action for the last week in the Fantasy Football League. Last week of the regular season in Cluster Frock 2. We had Sean's team, the Money Lake Colts, beating Simon's team, the Mark Davis Bowl Cut. Simon, you sat at 6-8 after the season. Sean, you're at 5-9. Sean, you might have had the worst record, but it's division-based, brother. You were able to get into the playoffs. Simon with the loss, you aren't able to get into the playoffs. We'll get into that why a little bit later. But it was a 195-35 to 129-15 victory. Simon, you were led by Rashad White with 24 plus points. Baker Mayfield with 22 plus points. So going Bucks in that one. I appreciate. I can respect that, brother. Then we had Tua with 31 plus points for Sean. And Mr. Tyreek Hill with 29 plus points. And he was going all Dolphins that day. And the Finns helped him get the victory. With Sean beating Simon. And in our next matchup, Ty's fate's going to be going on. What's happening with him? Does he win? Is he able to make it into the playoffs? No, because I just said he didn't. Oh, gosh. Shane, you made me happy. You made Sean happy, and you made the Hulkster happy. Because every time I see his team win, it brings the Hulkster just that much joy. Because you beat Ty. And Ty, you're sitting at 4-10 after the loss. Shane, you're at 7-7 in the playoffs. And Ty, you're out. Sean's in. Simon, you're out. You'll find out why in the next matchup. But Ty, you lost 115-85 to 158-90 to Shane. Shane, you were led by Justin Jefferson with 34 plus points. 49ers defense with 30 plus points. Ty, you were led by Sam Donald on a great day. 46 plus. And Oduzin, 20 plus for the Bears there, but wasn't enough to get you the victory. Keep you out of the playoffs. Defending champ. Protect your holes. Is out. The GB Packers by Shane. They're in. Shane, you helped me. Like I said, yeah. You helped the Hulkster, who feels like Sean's team is my team. And I'm so glad about that. That's why I'm wearing the Colts blue for him today. Just to make him feel a little bit better, you know. Gotta support your team. The Hulkster loves them Indianapolis Colts. But you helped Sean's team, and that helped him out a lot. And Shane, you're 3-1 all time against Ty. So that's something that's got to be feeling good, plus getting a victory going into the playoffs. Our next matchup. It's Caden. Beating Nate. And they both finished the season at 10-4. Both tops of their division, so give them a hand there, Caden. You beat him 173-95 to 66-30. Nate, your team, Billy Bob Jr., scored its least amount of points this year. The only person to score less points was Les. We all know how that match went. Caden, your team, golf is better. You topped the division this year. No. Give yourself a pat on the back there. Nate, Obviously, this was the lowest scoring week for you. And you scored the least amount of points in the league. But you're going into the playoffs, sitting on the top of your division. Is it going to be able to help you out? Are you going to make a run? Or are you going to lose to my brother, Mr. Sean Tomlin? When time will tell. Then in our next matchup, we had Dan's team pass the Dutch, beating Lawson's team. Andy Reid, Lawson, you finished at 6-8 on the season. Dan, you finished at 7-7, and with the victory, you knocked Simon out because Simon lost because he lost to the Hulkster's superpower friend, Sean Tomlin. It was a 213-20 victory to 180-30. So good job for you, Dan. You put up some good points. You had Josh Allen, 60 fucking plus points, so that's got to feel good to get him in there. And Mr. Edison, 41 plus points, so that was good. Lawson, you were led by Nicole with 42 plus points, and Jalen Hurts, 24 plus points. And Sean's going to talk about Jalen Hurts and what's going on with that guy, brother. Dan, you scored the most points in the league. Congratulations. It's got to feel good getting a win and getting into the playoffs. In our last matchup, we had Graham's team, J-Spot, our 2022 champion. Finished the season 8-6. Losing to Les's team, Tropic Thunder. Finished the season 7-7. It was a 197-80 to 142.8. Victory for Mr. Les there, and that's got to feel good. You had Jamar Chase giving him 40 plus points, and Mr. Stafford with 28 plus points. And Graham, you were led by Kyron Williams, 23 plus points, and Mr. Wilson, Russell, 20 plus points. We're going to talk about him. Les, you're in the playoffs. You had a victory going into the playoffs. You're 3-1 against Graham all time. So a lot of good positives going into that next week. Let's look ahead to the playoffs. Why don't we? Because the playoffs are happening, and everyone loves the playoffs. It's when you go for that number one, that championship trophy that everybody wants to hold. And I believe it gets you a ring, so you can remember it forever. Sean wins, Simon loses. Dan wins, Ty loses. So that means, Sean, you're in. Simon, you're out. Ty, you're out. Dan, you're in. Everything's set. Now we're getting on to the pearly field of excitement and I love the playoffs. Brother, we've got the Shooter McGavin division. Everything in this division is looking really fucking tight. Because, Nate, you're not looking too great going in, and you're going up against Sean. You're the number 1 seed in your division. He's the number 4, so you got the advantage there. We'll see what happens after Monday night, brother. And then we got Lawson going up against Les. Lawson, you're the 3rd seed. Les, you're the number 2 seed. Just rocking it. And you're going to show Mr. Lawson why Sean hates that name so much. And I know. See, you got a picture of Eddie Guerrero with a championship belt out there. It should be the Hulkster. But, brother, I'll take it. Showing that support there. Then our next division, we got the Happy Gilmore division. With number 1 seed, Caden. You're going up against Dan, number 4 seed. So you got the edge there, Caden. You've been doing good all season. Are you going to be able to make it into the divisional championship round? We're going to see, brother. Then we got Graham, the number 2 seed. Going up against Shane, the number 3 seed. And these guys got a heated rivalry. Who's going to make it out? Who's going to be walking away? Is Shane going to make up for leaving the playoffs last year after our first round exit? Or is he going to have the same fate as last year? Is Graham, is he going to miss out? Or is he going to make a run to get his 2nd championship in a 3-year span? Well, we're going to find out. Brother, thanks for having me on. We're going to get back to Mr. Sean here to give you guys your final thoughts and finish up the show. So let's go grab them. Are you ready, brother? Let's get going here. Thanks, Hogan. Really appreciate you coming out today and putting in some enthusiasm. I know everyone else loved it. I loved it. Thanks, Hulk. Everyone give him a big round of applause. Mr. Hulk Hogan again for us. He's got a lot of energy. Sometimes he thinks it's my show. His show. And his team is my team. Luckily, I let him borrow my shirt. Because he doesn't have his own yet. He's working on it. He's an old man. He forgets things a lot. So let's go to our goal to go and finish off the show for you guys. The Chiefs are going to be getting Harrison Butker back off of IR, the kicker. So it's a kicker. But, maybe this will help out. Although they did win by a field goal last week. So take that for what it is, I guess you could just throw anybody in there because they are kickers. Anyways, Randy Moss is battling a cancer, some kind of cancer. I did not read exactly what it was, but thoughts and prayers go out to Mr. Randy Moss. Hopefully he makes a great recovery, and we're able to see him back on TV very soon. Lattimore, you're coming off of IR, and you're going to make your debut against the Saints this weekend. So, good luck to you. You're going to want to stick it to your old team. I know. It's obviously the incentive going into that one. So hopefully you can, kick some ass, but hopefully we'll see that. Ingram, you are out with a season-ending season-ending surgery. I think it's on his shoulder. Really sucks for him. He was really a good piece in their cog, their offense. They've lost a lot of pieces there this year. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence is out, so it's kind of a watch season for the Jaguars. They've been looking, they've had moments, and they've been few and far between because they do actually look pretty bad. Then we got Russell Wilson. See the answer? Is he what the Pittsburgh Steelers have been missing this entire time since obviously the retirement of Big Ben? They've gone through the quarterback carousel quite a bit. Rudolph, Trubisky, just to name a few. Justin Fields, obviously the much younger option. They had him going for the first couple of games this season. But it's been Russell ever since he's been healthy enough to go, and it honestly looks like Russell Wilson is the answer there. He's got age on his side, though. Maybe they can keep Fields. Obviously, both of them are on a one-year contract. I think that they honestly should re-sign both of them. Have Fields keep watching, learning behind Russell Wilson. He was another quarterback that was kind of thrust into it right from being drafted. Right with the Bears, we all know how that happened. That went down. So I think he's still got some things to learn, and it never hurts to sit behind a Super Bowl winning quarterback. So I think, Russell Wilson is probably going to be the immediate future, not the long term. I think eventually he's going to have to call it quits, and then it will be time to transition into Fields there, more than likely. Then Campbell, linebacker on the 49ers, because he's no longer starting anymore, he was just like, I'm not fucking even going out there, I'm not playing. And Shannon was like, fine, then you're off the fucking team. Like you're getting paid this great amount of money. Maybe you're not a starter anymore, and you get taken off the start and you're still making good money. Just play the fucking game, man. You're playing fucking football. Like, you're getting to do something that rarely anybody gets to fucking do. Like, a very low percentage of people get to play at that fucking level. Get the fuck out there when your fucking name is called, bud. Be part of the team. So, the Bills Lions matchup. It's the matchup of the week, it's looking like. I think that's going to be such an entertaining match. If it's anything like what the Packers and Lions were last week, and a combination of that and the Rams-Bills game that was this past week as well, we are looking at one hell of a matchup. But that doesn't always translate week to week, but we could be in for something special. Bill Belichick, you're back in the news because you're going to be going to coach for UNC. Good job, bud. He is an expatriate. Still really don't like him. It's kind of softening on me a little bit, but holding strong. Fuck you, Bill. Go coach the college team. I don't give a shit. And then I'm going to finish off the show talking about the tension that's been building between Jalen Hurts and his star receiver, A.J. Brown. Haven't really seen exactly what the hell is going on there, but they say there's no problem. You know, everything's completely fine. Don't worry. We're going to be back on the same page, acting like they're old buddies. But I think something fucking happened there. I think it's going to come out probably after the season. Probably some kind of a locker room altercation. Hopefully everything's okay. It would be really bad for those two to be getting out of sync at this time in the year, especially with the playoffs coming up. So, you know, fix your issues and go and try and win a Super Bowl because you got one hell of a fucking running back and a great team with you there, guys. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in today. Like I said before, if you liked the show, leave a like so we can expand to other people by getting more likes on the episodes. Throw out a comment if there's anything you want to say, question you want maybe to go over in next week's final thoughts, and then smash that subscribe button to get weekly updates whenever episodes come available or whenever I put up shorts to, send in updates and remind you of the next week's episode. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for joining me, and I'll be back next week to break down everything you need to know.